Now, we all know that Google picks the winners and losers by its algorithm and determining who gets the top spot on the search engine results page, or the SERPs. But manual actions, how do you avoid those? What do you need to know? What do you need to understand? What can you do to make sure that when Google is handpicking the winners and losers, as I saw here in Niche Pursuits video, Spencer from Niche Pursuits, he made this video and he showed the manual actions, and he dove into whether or not this is dangerous territory for Google to be into. And I am along the same lines of that thinking, but he presented this article from Originality.ai, which is a piece of software that determines if a piece of content was created by AI or not. Whether or not you need one of those tools, not really up for debate in this video, but this post, or this article, this piece of research that they created, this case study they did, they showed some sites that piqued my interest based upon what's going on here in March with the spam update, and really to deep dive into with you about what is a manual action and site de-indexation and how you can avoid it, or what to look at, what to think about, what we as non-technical SEOs or people that aren't spending all of our time thinking about SEO, about creating helpful content, how can we avoid Google wiping our site out? And there were some examples, and I want to use this first website because there were 3 websites with over 1 million organic visitors per month that went to 0. And ZachJohnson.com was one of these sites. Now, inside of Google Search Console, so getting started with Google Search Console, all the links, by the way, in the description to everything I'm talking about. Check them all out, read them for yourself, do your own research, follow along with me, and then think about the way I'm thinking, and then utilize that thinking to help you think about creating content and making sure that you're following all the rules. So get started with Google Search Console, and then check out helpful reports for SEO specialists, digital marketers, and site administrators, folks like you and me. So we can learn, or you can learn, if your site has any Google search manual actions issued against it, you can check out the manual actions report. Now, inside of your Google Search Console, you'll scroll down under security and manual actions. It may be collapsed, and you'll click manual actions. If you have one, it will tell you what the details are here. If you don't have one, then no issues detected, right? We're all good. So you go to the manual actions report. And again, let me jump back here real quick. The link to get started with Search Console is here. Then down here, it links to the manual action report. I'll link directly to it so you can jump straight into manual actions, I believe. I'll try to remember to do that. But the idea here is these are what all the manual actions are, and how can you, or what do you need to do to fix the problem? And more importantly, how long will it take? Because you can be reconsidered, but you need to understand that the list of manual actions, it's more than one. Now, site reputation abuse and, spam and content that is thin or adds no value is in here. So us as bloggers, and specifically affiliate marketers, we're looking at things like thin affiliate pages. Have we put enough effort and time into creating helpful content, and not just create, as I talked about in the video the other day, also link onto that, where I really deep dove into this guideline here from March 5th, new ways we're tackling spam and low quality content from Google, where they released what they're trying to do, reducing low quality content or low quality or unoriginal results and keeping spam out of your results. And they're really focused in on these 3 things, which I think we're going to see all 3 of these today in our examples: scaled content abuse, site reputation abuse. Even though this wasn't supposed to kick in until May 5th, I think it's already started alongside of the scaled content abuse. And expired domain abuse, I will show you one example, only because the person that created the site freely and fully admitted that he used this as a tactic, as a technique. But really, I don't think it was abuse on his part. I think it might have just been more scaled content abuse and maybe a few other factors. We'll take a look. But going back to ZachJohnson.com, one of the 3 websites with over 1 million organic visitors per month that went to 0. Check out Zach Johnson's site. Zach Johnson tells you a little bit about who he is, where he started, and he focuses in on these categories: affiliate marketing, business, blogging, finance, podcasting, social media. This is what ZachJohnson.com is about. These things right here. Does that mean he can't blog about other things? I don't think that's the issue, because you see Forbes, you see New York Times, you see all these other big sites and these big media companies. Now, I think they do try to, build out silos, and I think it's possible to do. But for ZachJohnson.com, this was his core, right? This is where he lived. So if you were to go, of course, first, his site is de-indexed. If you were to go and look at one of his categories is tech. So he starts doing these reviews on tech, and, maybe he's stretching the limit here, but it's podcasting, it's social media, right? He's sort of staying in that wheelhouse. Now, whether or not this content is thin or whether or not it's scaled content abuse, either through AI or through him or through a team of writers, we don't know. We never will know. But you can go and do a search, because I did see a blog post about language. And one of the articles was 20 of the world's hardest languages to learn, which is lifestyle, which is a new category that wasn't presently on his page or isn't on his front page. But then this, right? Entertainment, top country songs ranked by fans. This, to me, is a red flag. And most likely it was a red flag through the algorithm itself, and then for Google to take the manual action, which is when a live person reviews this content and says, does this content make sense for this site? Is Zach Johnson the right person, or is this the right site? And is this content helpful if someone does a search for top country songs rated by fans? So does this fall under scaled content abuse or site reputation, or one of the other? Is it thin content? Does it add value? Is it unnatural? Are they just writing for the search engine? Is he just writing for the search engine just to get ranks, just to get rankings, just to get people to his website? Well, of course we all are, right? I mean, that's why we create content. Yes, we're trying to help people, but ultimately we're trying to help those folks help themselves and then help us by clicking on our links, buying our products, or buying the products that we recommend as affiliates. So again, go to ZachJohnson.com, do your due diligence, check out where he was, right, in this wheelhouse sort of entrepreneurship in these categories that made sense, and then kind of where he wound up, right? Just go and look at or do a search for, like I said, language, and you'll see these top country songs ranked by fans. And then I think there were some other things. Yeah, discover the best cities in the world, your ultimate travel guide. Like what? Like lifestyle for Zach Johnson? Maybe he is a world traveler and maybe he is a super duper country fan, but did it make sense? And is it, high quality content? I think is the issue there. So take a look at that and let me know in the comments what you think about that one. Next one up is old time music and the song meanings. So here you can see the main page is meaning of pumped up song lyrics. So the meaning behind, right? And they're just adding in, different artists and different song names and just generating, loads of these. So then you go to the blog, and we'll load up the blog. And while we're doing that, you can see that old time music has been de-indexed. So a manual penalty, right? It's been de-indexed, the whole site. So manually just shut down, meaning that they took a manual action based upon one of these things that a real person reviewed and took manual action. So the blog is how to hold and use a guitar pick, AirPods blinking orange, how to fix, guitars, or how to learn guitars for beginners. Of course, there's lots of ads on here too. I don't typically think that's the problem. Here's more about learning a guitar, how to replace your AirPods. So we'll click on that and we'll take a look and we'll say, okay, we'll go back to the guidelines and we'll look at the manual index. We look at all these things, right? Really come back to thin content with little or no added value. Do they rank for this based upon, all the other things that they were ranking upon? So their site authority, right? And then you get into the conversation of, Forbes and New York Times talking about, blenders and mattresses or whatever, right? Or AirPods. Of course, they would rank for that. So old time music, it makes sense. People are using AirPods, but just overall, is this content helpful? Is it too thin? And does it all add up to an annual action? No one can answer that question except for Google, right? And old time music, they have to look at themselves, and you have to look at yourself when you create your content. Now, old time music, when we get into the discussion of EEAT and experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, they're trying to establish that right here, right? So you read about John, you read about, Niall Flynn, Joseph L. Holland, Corey Hoffman, and it kind of comes into the idea, and I'm not calling out oldtimemusic.com at all, but, are these real people? So you click on them and you search the engine, or you search the image using the Google search engine, right? And you can see here exact matches. There's some exact matches, but it only comes up for, well, that one may or may not be her. That, I think, is her, So you're kind of looking, there's an article here about her profile on Muckrack. So you just kind of look at these, right? Like Warren Buffett or Warren Barrett, not Buffett, and you search his, and you do the same thing, and you're looking for these people, and you're thinking, again, I'm not trying to call out old time music. I'm trying to help you, just like I'm helping myself. Does this make sense, right? Is this, what we want? Is this helping my site? Is this helping me or hurting me, right? Calling out these people. If they're real people, hey, they're real people, right? Link to them, I would say, down here in these descriptions, link to their authority, right? Don't leave it up just to this little text snippet. For example, if I was to go back to zachjohnson.com and do that same thing where I went and search image with Google and use the, Google Images search, and I search for Zach Johnson's face, again, I don't think he has a problem being a real person because it links to his LinkedIn page, right? So, probably the dude's a real person. But if you go back to old time music and you look at these folks, right? I'm not really sure, is all I'm saying. So look at that and say, is that hurting me? Is that helping me when you're creating your own content, when you're creating your own Who Are We or About Us page? So for example, universeunriddled.com. Full transparency right here on the channel. Obviously, I'm using AI to build this out. So in my About Us page or on the About Us page at universeunriddled.com, I do show me, right? I do mention, or I do say that, this is a project brought to life by me, Gary Lynn Baker. The content or our content on the site is predominantly generated by cutting-edge artificial intelligence for OpenAI, specifically ChatGPT. Now, if you search my image with Google, you're going to go and it's going to find content that I've created, with that same image. And, part of this is, making it easy for Google. Don't make it a struggle, right? But, Facebook, that's me. Core, that's me. Publisherreport.com, that's me, where I built publisherreport.com, the YouTube channel, utilizing my top strategy, right? Traffic offer people, going through the affiliating 9 steps, right? Publishing on Quora about, digital marketing. But on Publisher Report, I had both a YouTube channel and a website that is still indexed and ranked, and I sold all that, right? But, just to say that when you go back and you look at this, what we saw here from their page and these images versus what we saw with Zach Johnson's image and then my image and who I am and the fact that I'm being straightforward and honest about it, not saying they're not being honest, just saying look at it and determine what you think and what Google might think, right? When we're talking about these manual actions, because we're talking about a person actually being, given a site or a page, most likely triggered by the algorithm, and saying, hey, check out these list of manual actions. Are they violating our policies? Not just these, all the policies that Google has listed. And we looked in that other video where we talked about, this policy, and we looked at all the policies going back to 2005. Years and years and years, Google has been doing this, writing policies about their content. So we move on to the next one. And the next one is Chipperbirds, chipperbirds.com. This is an AI site, and it has been de-indexed, and this is a public AI site. If you were to just search Chipperbirds, Julian Goldie SEO. He is an SEO. It's what he does for a living. He has training. He does all this. And he built this site, and he showed how he did it with ChatGPT and AI. So he got manually indexed. I don't think Chipperbird has come back. I think all of his sites got manually de-indexed. His main site got manually de-indexed. Again, out of the things that you might get manually de-indexed for, and the fact that it happened on, I think, March 6th, right? The day after, was it scaled content abuse? Was it site reputation abuse? Was it expired domain abuse from this domain? Or did the new update trigger these policies, these algorithm update, did it trigger something for YouTube to, de-index this site here, Chipper Birds? Or was it just thin content? Or was it just too much and not good enough? And then again, if you go look at his Contact Us page, I looked at all this earlier as I was doing my research. Oh, no, not Contact Us. I think you have to here. Julian Goldie, right? He calls himself a bird enthusiast, and it's a blog about sharing his experience caring for birds, traveling the world, caring for birds. Not calling out Julian, but is this what you do? Do you honestly travel the world watching and helping others care about birds? Maybe you do. If you do, then there should be some proof of that, right? Like maybe or maybe not. You should have real, images. You should have your own pictures that you photographed. And I'm not saying these aren't, but I know that he did, right? This all through AI. And that was his case study as an SEO. So it may have been a passion project that maybe just went wrong and he got caught up in, creating this cool site that he was interested in and letting the AI generate the content. I'm not going to speak for him on that. We're here talking about the manual index that he got, the penalty that he got, and how to avoid it, and doing your research by going back to Chipper Birds and looking at Chipper Birds, the content, the Contact Us or the About Us, like all the information that's here, and why you think maybe or maybe not it should have been de-indexed. And let me know in the comments at this point. I mean, really think about this. You're in the business as a blogger or an affiliate marketer to create content, and Google is picking winners and losers based upon this criteria. Just like Spencer said over Niche Pursuits, right? This is dangerous. It could be dangerous, or it's, they're putting it in the hands of a real person, but, does that person care? I mean, it's just a job for them, right? They're just like, hey, spammy host, user-generated spam. Oh, this looks unnatural to me, right? Thin content, or what's thin content to them? What guidelines are they going by? Because if the algorithm doesn't de-index it and they have to do it manually, then the algorithm isn't able to identify a thin affiliate page without a person going and double checking the algorithm. Of course, it's a computer. So that's what we're really talking about. Next one up, Bonsai Mary. This is another SEO on YouTube. Site got de-indexed, right? BonsaiMary.com, site's gone. This is from Jesse Cunningham. He is fully transparent. He built this and he used AI and he pumped it up. And he also did this. You can check it out, but he also started with an expired domain. Was it domain abuse? Again, for Google to decide, but for you to go to the site and look at this site. And I was to check this site out. Now, if you were to, look at this person, this isn't a real person, right? Like this is all made up. And I'm going to go into a little depth here of, I don't know which one this falls under, like of the list of manual actions, maybe unnatural links to and from your site, and definitely, the domain abuse. Well, not domain abuse, I would say, but using a expired domain, he definitely did that. There's a link here to Facebook, but it's not to a Facebook page about, you can read that. It's not about the Facebook page for Bonsai Mary. So it's not the Bonsai Mary Facebook page, but they do have a Facebook page, and he's actually getting traffic from Facebook, and he's open about that as well. And like I said, a lot of this content, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Now, he did use these pictures from Instagram. He is citing the people that he took the photos from off of Instagram. So it was programmatically created. All this content was programmatically created with AI. Now, he did say that people were reviewing the content, making sure that it made sense. But, check this out. You dive a little deeper, go into the About Us, right? Based upon the content, is the content thin, right? Is it only written to be ranked in the search engine? Most likely, right? And you can see here that they've added a phone number, they've added an address, they've added hours of operations to make it look like it's a business. So I went ahead and, again, this is, Jesse Cunningham, SEO expert. I went ahead and looked up the address. So if you go back to the About Us page, I went ahead and looked up the address. The address here is a FedEx site, right? So like a post office box or a place where you can buy an address for a business. That's the FedEx store. And then they have this link here, right? And you can actually see if you search for Bonsai Mary. Bonsai Mary has a few links here for local businesses and things. And I don't believe it is a local business. I think it's just an affiliate site. So you can see here's the address, and they've linked back to their website. So unnatural links, is that a natural link? PR business for Bonsai Mary. Is it a physical store, right? Do they sell physical products at the store? Well, this ad popped up, so they're running ads. But is it a physical store? I mean, I don't think it is, right? And do they have hours of operation? Or are they just putting this information here because they know that this establishes the site in the eyes of Google, right? And have they created those backlinks, like this backlink from prbusiness.com back to Bonsai Mary? Are those unnatural, right? List of manual actions. Are those unnatural? Is the content thin? Does it add value? Does it meet any of these other requirements? And in my opinion, that's what you need to be doing. You need to be looking at your content based upon the information you see here, based upon the research that you're doing, or, you know, the things that the SEOs here on YouTube or the SEOs out there in the world, the research they're doing, the work they're doing, whether or not they be black hat, white hat, right? Whether they're doing things just to manipulate the search engine. I'm neither here nor there on that, you know, because my opinion is strictly this. I'm creating content because I'm a marketer. I'm a person that has decided I want to make money online. I created a blog using AI because I am interested in AI, but I'm also interested in the content that I'm creating, and I think people will be interested in it when they click through, if they find it in search, or when I start driving other traffic to it from Facebook or Pinterest or Instagram or wherever, right? Run an ad in a local newspaper or magazine. Doesn't matter, right, where the traffic comes from. But when people land on the site, I think they will find it interesting. I think they will get value from it. And then, yes, they will click on affiliate links and I'll earn a commission. Someday I may, right, get to the point where I have a newsletter that talks about those topics in depth. Someday I may have my own product that I create about those topics because the topic may interest me to that depth, kind of like what I did with Publisher Report as a YouTube channel and Publisher Report as a website. Because Universe Unriddled and the aspects and different topics that I'm talking about on that as a brand and me as a real person creating that content using AI, I may start a YouTube channel. There's a solar eclipse coming up here in Arkansas, April 8th, I believe, a full solar eclipse. Maybe I write something and I put that on universeunriddled.com. Maybe I help have the AI write stuff. Well, there already is stuff about solar eclipses and the phases of the moon on there because it's interesting from the, you know, astronomy and or the cosmology and, you know, just the mysteries of the universe, what's out there, right? How things work. And it has always interested me. And I created content using AI, but maybe I'll start creating my own content to go along with the AI content and then pair that up with a YouTube channel where I talk about ancient aliens and stuff like that I'm covering on that site as well. So look at the list of manual actions, all the content in the description, you know, do your due diligence, do your own research, read that, ask questions here in the comments. Let me know what you've seen other sites. Maybe your site got manual penalties or completely de-indexed. We can take a look at it together. Again, not an SEO, not trying to get into the SEO business, but it is my business to understand and learn more about SEO. It's my business to share that with you because I want you to be able to create helpful content and, of course, get it indexed by Google. And once it's indexed by Google, get it found by people that are searching for that content, help those folks, and then have those folks help you by clicking on your links and earning commissions. All right. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.